So being that the final exam is all multiple choice, I just thought I'd go through a little, or a couple of these little tips and tricks that you can do with multiple choice. Most of them you guys know, they're pretty obvious, but people that even on the test where they have a multiple choice section, this whole year I've had people miss some that they could have easily just done some of these strategies. You're given 4 possible answers, so if you are given 4 possible answers, with those 4, and you can work backwards and see which one works. So for instance, to the following expression, yeah, you could factor that, or if you don't factor it, you could just. Now, honestly, I think it's factor. But especially since there's leading coefficient here, sorry. Especially since you can see where some people would say, I'll just take the time to multiply it out. So each one, you take 3x times x is 3x squared. X and negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. That is an x minus 4. That answer. So then you go on to do the same thing. Squared, 3x times 2 is x. Negative 2 times x is 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So that's 3x squared plus 4x minus 4. So we're close, but it's not going to be 4. So I wonder if it's going to be switched around. Sorry about that. So distribute this one. We have 3x squared minus 6x plus 2x 4. So that's 3x squared minus 4x minus 4. So that then is our answer. That is what we have up here. That's what we're looking for, which means C is our answer for that one. So again, some of you guys might look at that and say that's a lot of work, and you're absolutely right. But it's better than just leaving ones blank or just blindly guessing. And the first one will work. Sometimes you get unlucky and you'll have to do all 4 of them. Obviously, the options in between, you might do 2 or 3. This one's a little bit more difficult because you're factoring. So to work backwards, you have to multiply all those together. That's kind of a hassle. But you have a lot of questions that say solve. Almost every question that wants you to solve something. I took a quadratic, but even if it's an exponential or if it's a square root thing, if it says solve for x, a lot of times you can take your x's and just plug those in and see which ones work. So for instance, with this one, which ones when I plug them in get me 0? So just take out your calculator. Parentheses 2 plus 2 for all of them. Squared plus 2 12. So this get that positive 2 gave us a negative 6, not 0. So that one's the whole answer. And if you ever had any other positive 2's in your answer, maybe those equal a negative 2 in that case. So that really rule out A. But let's try negative 2. Definitely parentheses. Negative 2, remember negative 2 squared is different than negative 2 squared. 2 squared plus 2. So it's not that. Let's try, we have negative 4, positive 4. So let's try 4 again and make sure you negative 4 squared. Negative 4 minus 12. So negative 4 gave us 0. So now already I know positive 4 is probably not going to be the answer. I guess I shouldn't say, sorry, I should rewind. If there's negative 4 is not in here at all. So that's why that can't be the answer. It could be negative 4 and positive 4. I should make sure I specify that. But just in case, try 3. Just 3 squared plus 3 minus 12 does give you 0. Both of those give you 0, so that is your answer. So again, a lot of the questions on the final exam that say solve for x, you can work backwards like that. Now, if you're going to do that for every one of them, I don't know how much time you'll have to finish the final, but definitely. One other thing, and I was trying to figure out better examples of this, just ruling out obvious wrong answers. And so some of you guys will look at think that it's obviously wrong, but we're talking about 5 raised to the x. 5 raised to the 20 this number. So if I put in my calculator, it doesn't even fit in my calculator. It is, so it says 96046, and that says then E16, which is scientific notation. That's 5.96 times 10 to the 16th. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And so that's roughly, let me get a move on that track. That's how big that is. So again, that's not a huge obvious one. Other ones, if it's a story problem and it says like, how tall is the building? And the ladder is 100 foot tall, but the building is probably then not going to be 2 million feet tall. Or how tall is the tree? It's not going to be a negative height. So any of those answers that are obviously wrong, you can rule out. And then even if you don't know how to do this answer, this problem, at least now have a 50-50 shot with A and C. Since we know that's not the answer, even if we don't know, at least it's a 50-50 shot, and that's way better than a 33% shot. Now, this that someone told me one time, and I think it's really interesting. If you have no idea what you're doing and you just have to guess, so if you have no idea if it's A, B, C, or D. So again, hopefully you'll be able to rule some of those out. Hopefully you can say, well, I know it's definitely not D. But if you indeed have no idea and you're just going to blindly pick, you should always guess, not C. A lot of people say, oh yeah, if the whatever, you always guess. Correct. No, I actually went through this final exam and I made sure there wasn't any more C's than D's or B's and A's. I made sure it was very even. But there is a little bit of truth to this. If you're doing, you should always guess the same letter. So every time you have no idea and you're just going to guess, if every time you put C, then you are more likely to do better. But that's not more better than if you say, you know what, every time I have no idea what I'm going to do, I'm going to put D. But again, either way, do it. As long as you're putting the letter, you could put A every time, you could put B, it doesn't matter. But every time you have to blindly guess, you put the same letter, statistically, you're going to do better. And the main reason for that, mathematics, is if you know, so you just randomly guess, there's a lot more likely chance that you'll guess the wrong one every time. But if I guess C every time, eventually you might have one that has a C in there, or B or A. So again, if you don't know and you're not sure and you just have to guess a letter, it doesn't matter if it's A, B, C, or D, just make sure it's the same letter. So that was just real quick, some of these strategies that I know they used to be drilled into you guys' head back when we took like ISTEP and ECA, but since we don't do that, I don't know how often people go through those strategies.